Okay. Okay, it's been fine. Um, Welcome to today's episode of BACN Fireside Chat. For those that are new here, we're a community of we're a community that help, young professionals set up and excel in their business analysis career. And I welcome everyone to today's episode. So today we're going to be sticking with our former topic, which is tech opportunities, how tech opportunities, how to have a tech career, a non-coding career. And today we're going to be having an amazing guest, an IT business analyst in her own right. And I'm going to be adding her in a few seconds. I hope she's here already. So that we can, meet her and get to, let's say, pick her brain on, the topic. Okay. Second. Here she is. Just give a few minutes for her to join in and we'll just go right into it.
Hello everyone.
Hi, Jennifer.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can see you and I can hear you. Can you hear me and see me?
Okay, yes, I can see you.
Okay, that's great. So let's just go right into it. So please, can
All
you tell
right.
us about yourself, and what you do, where you work, just the high level all round about yourself.
All right. This is afternoon. So good afternoon, everyone. Like you all know, my name is Jennifer Rex-Erameh. I'm an IT
Okay.
business analyst. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Jay, David. Hi, everyone. So yes, my name is Jennifer Erameh. I'm an IT business analyst. I currently work in the financial sector. Basically, my day to day as a business analyst, in summary, is I try to understand what the business is. I try to understand our different revenue streams and then understand the needs of my stakeholders. I mean, I have a clear picture of what the business is about. Um, in the course of my interactions with my stakeholders, I get to understand their pain points because I know what the business is about.
Yeah.
And then I try to see how I can use technology to solve their problem. So, in a nutshell, that is what I do as a business analyst. Yes, so is that all? Would you want to know how I started?
Of course, but we're going to get into that. There's a whole lot of questions to about to juice out of you. Like you mentioned, you said you use technology to help those
Yeah.
needs. Yeah. So can you like expatiate on what tools exactly that you currently interface with, and in doing your duties as a business and as an IT business analyst?
Okay, so first of all, tools. Now, one thing I like to put at the back of my mind is before you start defining tools, you need to understand the processes. So the
Mm.
processes helps you identify the tools. What do I mean? So say, for example, I want to gather my requirement. Right now, everybody still works from home. I don't know about everybody, but I still work from home till
Yeah,
date.
me
So how
also.
do I gather my requirement? Yeah. So what I do is I try to set up a collaborative tool. So what we support in my company is Teams. So I have like
Okay.
a Teams meeting where after identifying stakeholders, I use the session for my communication and collaboration. So that's Teams for you. So if I want to stir up productivity, I look for a project tracker. For us, I use Smart Sheets where I get to highlight all the different activities, who is responsible, who is accountable. So that's the tool that helps me track productivity.
Yeah.
So for prototyping, For prototyping, what I do is, as much as we don't get to see ourselves, people tend to function better when there's a pictorial representation of the words you're saying. So if I say A, you would understand better when I get to show you a picture of what A looks like. Yeah, so for that, I use Figma to just try to create a prototype of what the solution I'm proposing would look like, so that everybody has a clear picture of what that solution would be like when it's being implemented. Yeah, then importantly, I have like a tool for a process flow. So in as much as you've identified your need, you want to be able to make every other person, that's your stakeholders, feel some level of comfort by telling them that this is the processes that your need will go through. So it will move from point A to point B to point C. I have to use a tool for that. So I use Visio. Visio allows me map out my processes, draw out my flow and everything. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really, really amazing. But like let's just take a cue back and tell us how you even got into the career of business analysis in the first place.
All right. So
was this what you always wanted to do? You know, you had this plan at the back of your mind when I got out of.
No. Good. Interestingly, I never ever thought of being in the IT world. As a matter of, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, I always wanted to move into the engineering space, but as God would have it, I found myself studying biochemistry. So I am a graduate of biochemistry. And coming out of biochemistry, my path wasn't really defined, because as much as I intentionally wanted to study engineering, I enjoyed the experiences studying biochemistry, but I wasn't really clear on if I would be practicing or what my next steps would be. It's usually not a defined moment because you don't have it all figured out. But what was really clear at that point was what I knew I wanted. I knew that I wanted to create impacts. I knew that I wanted to be valuable. I wanted to remain relevant. Those were the key things I had in my mind. And I found myself using that as some kind of framework for what my next steps will be. How did I start? After schooling, NYC and everything, I intentionally took up a training in the human resource management. And basically what I was trying to do was understand people, right? Manage people, know how to handle people, know how to communicate and everything.
Very important.
As much as that became a significant part of my life and I had my lessons learned from that process, I wasn't satisfied because it wasn't giving me the amount of relevance I really needed, right? This is me trying to come out of the financial sector. Like, okay, you know, there's the financial part to always making a decision as to, oh, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? Yeah, so this is aside that, right? It's not all about the money. Money doesn't have to be your driving force. So what I did was I picked out the lesson I learned while I practiced as a human resource officer. I got another job where I was working as a business development manager. At the same time, I learned facilitation. So at this point, I knew I had a bucket of skills, soft skill sets, right? And then I kept doing my researches, kept networking, kept asking questions, kept reading literally, like I was literally reading. Just to understand where the world is moving to. What's the trend? What's the next future? What's the next order? And it was technology. At this point, I knew that I didn't have all it took to move into the technology space, but I was ready to dwell on my soft skills And that's how I found myself in the world. So I didn't know how to code. To my transitioning into business analysis, I knew nothing, zero knowledge about business, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
But what I did was I had people skills, I had the communication skills, I had the problem solving skills because I am so keen on solving problems. So I leveraged on those soft skills, and one or two times made applications here and there. Of course, it wasn't easy. It's not as easy as I'm saying it, but I was determined, and I looked out for mentors. So I got mentors who, it wasn't easy getting mentors, but I got mentors who understood my path, who I could learn from, who were willing to go through my journey with me and be a part of my success story, right? And when all of those were acquired, I got into, I think for a start, I got into a startup as a product manager. And yeah, I got practicing, working as a product. So I was doubling as a business analyst and a product manager. And I took the lessons. It was processes or limited processes because it's a startup. You really don't have who to learn from. Yeah, the business is expecting you to know it all, and I needed to learn the job. And I just home, and it was at this point it was all about reading and researching, and taking that role. What I could understand was that I needed to learn the technical language. I needed to learn how to communicate with the technical guys in a term that they would understand. So yeah, so I took up courses online just to have an overview of what the terms are, what the communication should be like. So if somebody says, I want to provision a server, what does that even mean? You get? If somebody says the UI is not good, what does that mean? Or I'm working on the UI, what the hell? You get? So I needed to bring myself abreast with those terminologies. And that's what learning does. Learning teaches you it teaches you it doesn't teach you the experience, it just teaches you it gives you a background understanding of what you should know. So that when you find yourself having to practice, you'll be able to acquire the technical skills. So with all my learnings and everything, I could get myself a job as a business analyst. Now, getting into that field, it was challenging because I couldn't really speak their language. I didn't really understand what to do. But the good thing was that I understood the business. And for me, the biggest win for me was the fact that I didn't go in with the mentality that it had to be all technical. So the fact that I could understand the business, I could understand what they meant by we have a problem, my interactions with the development team was easier because I can come from the business perspective, and they'll be like, okay, you have to fix ABC. And I'll be like, oh, okay. I'll go and check online to see what that means. So subsequently, I started building that background knowledge in the technicality. This was when I just joined. Before I did other courses, before I started coding, this was just when I joined. This was how I transitioned successfully without a technical background. So at this point, I was trying to gather as much domain knowledge as possible. At this point, I was trying to understand technical communication because I knew the business language and I was trying to understand the technical language and then the domain language as well. Yeah, that's pretty much a summary of how I transitioned.
Wow, that's quite a journey. I like the fact that you highlighted, upskilling, training, and, getting mentors, because I feel like a lot of young people, we what would you say careers that exist in the tech space for you, apart from a business analyst and field that you mentioned? What other space can I plug into as a, let's say, a school leaver, and I just want to do some, I think I have problems and I do not, what fields can I play into?
So before I move on to start highlighting the different careers that exist in the technology space, I would say that you should, if you're wanting to transition, so say for example you're already working and you're wanting to transition to the technology space, or you're a school leaving graduate and you want to move into the technology space, the first thing I would say, or my recommendation will be that try to determine your strength. What's your strength? Your strength would also help you build on the availability of careers in the technology space. Apart from business analysis, we have the project management, we have the product management. All these are non-technical. We have the quality assurance. Those are non-technical. We have the designers. That is the user interface and user experience designers, those that would design what the app should look like. Oh, my bad. Let me just quickly give a small history of what each of them represent. So the quality assurance are those guys that will test the application. Okay, is this working? You don't have to be technical to be able to test the application. All you need to know is, what is this application meant to do? If you have a knowledge of what the application is meant to do, you should be able to test the application. So you see, that has nothing to do with your technicality. Now, project management is just understanding the initiation of the project and seeing the project through its life cycle to the end, and ensuring that, whatever was highlighted as the budget at the beginning, you maintained that. You're not going outside the budget. Whatever scope of the project was to be, maintaining it. You're not going out of scope. Whatever the time frame that was the time frame allocated for the project and the resources allocated for the project, you're just ensuring that all of these things are not taken outside scope, right? And as a matter of fact, project management is what we do almost every day of our lives. Every day you're in Lagos, you're trying to get an apartment, the whole searching for the house down to when you move into the house and the house is fitted and everything is your personal project you just managed. So if you're an event manager, you know how to organize events from start to end. You are a project manager. That's the project you just manage. So try to look at where your strength is, and that would help you determine which of the career paths to go into, right? You have what else do you have? You have I won't say, you have the business process automation guys. Now, the business process automation guys are those guys that will look at your processes and be like, wow, you're just suffering yourself. How do you want to automate this thing, right? Rather than coming to work and you have to use a register to sign in the time you came in, your name and everything. Why don't we just develop a system for you, and all you do when you come is swipe your ID card, right, on that system, and it logs you in. Exactly. So this is just a lay example, pretty much. These are some of the career paths that are available that requires zero technical skills before you migrate or transition into them. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, because I think it's very necessary that people, know one of the things, you can't lie to yourself. Know yourself, know what your strengths are, know what, don't take on too much for you that is going to, overburden you at the end of the day. So do you think that the fact that you could not code limited you in, gaining let's say access into the tech space, or was it, do you think it's indifferent whether or not you can code, or whether you can code or whether you can't code?
So
does it affect or impact you?
Okay, so for me, it did not limit me in any way. And here's why. Now, first of all, I didn't move into a career that was looking out for my coding abilities at the first instance. So if a recruiter is searching for you, the first question will not be, do you know how to write this code, or what language do you write? No. I think the first thing for me is, where do you really want to find yourself? Do you want to be a developer, or you want to just function in the technology space? So it was no limitation to me, because I was not looking for how to be a developer. Till now, I'm not looking for how to be a developer.
But
So
you can
learning
code now, right?
code, yeah, so learning how to code is a plus. It's not a must-have. It's a nice to have. Because all you want to do is make your work easier. You don't want all these developers, they know how to bamboozle you. You give them one task, they'll tell you that this thing is 2 years, right? Because you have no technical know-how. But you're not learning how to code so that you sit down to write the codes yourself. You're learning how to code so you can speak in the same voice with the developers. So you can you can show more empathy with the developers. It draws a level of closeness to you, between you and the developers, when you know that you know how to do these things, and you're not just authorizing them to do things because you don't know how to do it. And then they know that, oh, the reason why you're giving them close deadlines is not because you want to have their heads cut off. It's because you know that this thing can be obtained within this time frame, and this is the time frame the business has given for the implementation of this. So it helps your communication with them. So for me, it wasn't to my disadvantage that I didn't know how to code. It was never the most spoke about topic for me. Because I went into the non-technical space, what the recruiters, what the business, the entities, what they're more concerned about is your ability, your analytical skills. Everybody wants to, as much as possible, try to take out ambiguity, right? They want to understand your level of breakdowns. How do you break down things? How do you make things non-complex? How do you make things as simple as possible? Not technical things, right? Because technical things is just one aspect. The people, as a business analyst or a project manager or the non-technical side, what you're doing is you're the face. The technical team will not interface with the business. The technical team will not be in the meetings you'll be in. So you're the face behind the technical team and the business. So you're like the subject matter expert, because you have tried to bridge the gap between technology and business. And technology is not writing the codes alone. There's a broader picture to technology, right? You have analysis in technology. How do I break down complex things into simple things? How do I create features for these requirements that has been gathered? Okay, I want to organize a party. Let's say that was the requirement. How do I make this one line of requirement? How do I sieve out all the features, all the things I need to do, all my to-dos? How do I do that, right? In such a way that it allows for a process. So I'm not going to the end, picking out one, coming to the middle, picking another one, and going to the top. It's sequential, right? How do I do all of this sequentially? It requires zero technical skills. Interestingly, right, you find out that, this is my own perception anyways, you find out that if you know how to break down things, if you know how to analyze problems and put them into sequences and all of that, if you eventually learn how to code, it makes it easier for you in the output of your work, because now you're not seeing the smaller picture, right? And that's where a lot of developers have a little challenge, because they're seeing the smaller picture. They just want to write the language. How do you want us to do it? Okay, I want to do this. They don't think outside the box. They've just done that, and they'll put it to you. But if you learn all of this background understanding, when you eventually learn how to code, you'll be able to put those into an architecture, right? And
Yeah.
then you're delivering a good system architecture. You're not just writing codes.
Code.
So I mean, that's why I feel that it was not a challenge. It did not restrict me because I didn't know how to code, because I wasn't looking for how to be a developer. If you're looking for how to be a developer, you're looking for how to be a data scientist, you're looking for how to be a data analyst or a machine learning engineer or a DevOps guy. You see, in fact, with the names, you know that you have to learn how to code first with just the
Yeah.
names, right? That is if you want to go straightly into these things. But truth be told, look for the simplest way you can put yourself out there. Because in the simple way, you tend to achieve the greater ones. If you move in as a business analyst, on the job, you get to learn how to code. If you get to learn how to code, you get to choose the language by which you want to code. If you choose the language and it happens to be around the Python or R programming, you can migrate into data science or data or machine learning, right? If that's where your dreams are. You see, you're pacing your growth.
Hmm.
You're not just jumping into
Jumping
it, you're
into it.
pacing it. Yeah, so that's my take on that.
I like the fact that you don't just jump into things. Pace yourself, like you said. Just pace what you want to do and see. Oh, do I like? That you just go head on into the ocean and maybe drown.
Yeah,
Um.
trust me,
Next.
you crash.
Um. Okay. So, what other challenges exist in the tech sector? A lot of people say, "Oh, it's fast paced. You don't get to sleep much." So, what are the nitty gritties or the challenges that you face in the tech space?
So for me, I would say acquiring domain knowledge,
Hmm.
being a domain expert. So the tech space is quite a broad one because when you say
Yeah.
the tech space, you're also looking at the financial sector. When you say the tech space, you're also looking at oil and gas. When you say the tech space, you're also looking at telecommunication. So it goes on and on and on and on. There's really no, oh, this is tech space. Now, technology has integrated with everything we do.
Everything.
So,
Yeah.
acquiring domain knowledge is I would say it's a challenge because if you lack domain knowledge, there are a lot of things you won't be a step ahead of situations. If you lack domain knowledge, you won't be a step ahead of you'll not be a step ahead of situations. I would also say some of the challenges in the tech sector is ability to get yourself hired
Hmm.
as a non-tech person, ability to get
Wow.
yourself hired. As a matter of fact, then when there was still Diamond Bank, this is just a little background of that experience of mine. I applied for a business analysis role in Diamond Bank, went there, they were asking me questions, I was just bombarding them with all the answers. Do you know when I was done answering? The feedback I got was, with all these things that you have mentioned, they all sound theoretical.
Hey.
It doesn't sound like you've practiced them. I was like, God, which one is this one again? You don't know, they'll say you don't know. Now you know,
No,
they'll
they say
say
you don't have experience.
theoretical. Yeah, so if I know theoretical, is it not obvious that I need a place to practice it so that I can
Exactly.
learn the practical? And that's how I didn't get the job. But yeah, did I feel bad? Yes, I felt bad, but there was a lesson, right? The lesson was all these things that you have practiced, go and look for how to
Apply them.
learn how to how you've learned, go and look for how to practice them. And then I started looking for internships. I was looking for unpaid internships.
Wow.
I was looking for anything literally. So finding hiring managers who will be willing to give you a chance in the tech sector, irrespective of your non-techie skills, is also a challenge in the tech sector for me, right? And then I think for me, I would say identifying the essential skills needed to remain relevant in the tech sector. So identifying the skill set you require to remain relevant, because the truth is when you are there, like you mentioned earlier, people will you will have a lot of work, you have a lot of demand, you will not have time to sleep. But as much as you're pressed with work, trust me, the moment you lose focus on acquiring more skill sets, you become irrelevant. The moment the company starts getting a sense of your irrelevance, start counting down to when you'll be pushed out of the company. So I feel there's no time. You're not given that extra time. There's no time allocated to just learning. So acquiring those skills that will make you stay relevant, I would say are some of the challenges you would face when you move into the tech sector. Yeah, so I'll stick with those three for now.
A few more questions. So how would you advise someone to fast track, their growth in the tech sector? Like you said, you upskill. Like, what would you advise a young person or someone that is about to transition? What do I do to get into this space?
One, have at the back of your mind that there's no fast track in getting into this space, right? Because change is a process. You have to be willing to take each step and each day at a time, right? You have to identify your strength. I keep capitalizing on the strength part because that's what worked for me. I can't preach something different. So you have to identify your strength. Your strength might be talking. It can be that little. You might just like talking. You might be a good communicator, but it's important to identify your strength and leverage on your strength. You can't try to reach out for something and then leave out on what you have. You can't reach out for something empty. So identify your strength. The third thing would be for you to research. You've identified your strength, right? Now you know your strength. You have to research. You have to know, okay, seeing as what my strength is, how do I live? What are the available options I could leverage this strength in? So if I am good at mathematics, for example, I am good with calculations, I easily grasp numbers and all of that. I would say, okay, after researching, looking at the options, I could go into coding, for example, if I want to be a developer. Now, if I am good at communications, if I'm good at financial analysis, if I'm good at sales, if I'm good at marketing, customer care services, all of these other career paths, if I'm good at all those things, then I should start looking out for business analysis, project management, product management, quality assurance. Do the research to know how you can transition into it. So you have your research as the third option. You have networking as the fourth. Networking is very important. I cannot overemphasize how important networking is. And the beautiful thing is, it's important to network in a conscious manner. You're not just looking for how to make friends. You're making a conscious effort to network with the relevant people in the sector that you would like to penetrate in. Yeah. How did I get to know BACN when it just started? It was through networking, right? I knew that, as a matter of fact, there's no meetup in Nigeria that has to do with business analysis that that I do not know, that you will not find me either following on LinkedIn, following on anywhere. I am really passionate about business analysis. And that's, as a matter of fact, I leveraged on that passion and decided to also mentor people as well. So networking is important. It helps you identify people. It helps you keep abreast with the new skills, with the new technology, with the new anything happening within that space, right? So networking is important. Then mentorship.
Yeah.
I became better when I had a mentor. My mentor is the best ever, ever, no doubt. So mentorship is important. Each day, and so at some point when I was still growing in the whole, I mean, I'm still learning. It's not like I'm there yet, but when I was still much younger in business analysis, it wasn't easy reaching out to mentors. A little story on how I got my mentor. I went on LinkedIn, and in my search history, you would find out that what I did was I would reach out to any individual that had CBAP
business
attached to their name.
Wow.
I would also look out for people that had business analysis to their name. I will connect with all of them, and I'll send each of them individual messages on LinkedIn. Please, I would like you to be my mentor. Please, I would like you to, like, literally, it was more than people. So it was a deliberate attempt. I didn't just wake up and boom, I just became an expert. Because I felt hungry. I felt hungry in my mind, in my spirit. I knew that there was something that was outstanding. I had my lessons I had learned. I had my tough moments. I had my rough days, right? As a matter of fact, I had days I teared up, days I cried. It wasn't easy. So I reached out to more than 100 people, not exaggerating, on LinkedIn, physically, meetups, everything. I reached out. Some of them would accept you, but they're not ready to push on with you. Some of them would be there temporarily, and of course, they also have their busy schedule. Exactly. So, but in all of it, I didn't give up. And there was a program that was going on LinkedIn about mentorship and all of that. It was all the mentors were in the US. So when I saw the flyer, I reached out to all the speakers. Everybody. And one person responded. This was a couple of years back. Till now, I am in constant communication with him. He's not in Nigeria. The time difference is very annoying. I will stay awake. When it's my midnight, it's his morning. I will stay awake just to ask my questions. And I drilled down my mentorship. I have mentors for different things. So I drilled down my mentorship to someone who is in the same space, the financial sector. I drilled down to people who are in the same who is in the same financial sector with me, who previously worked in a bank that does what I do, right? Who previously has an investment, because I work in an investment bank, who has an investment banking experience. So it's easier for us to speak the same language. I'm not saying one thing and you're understanding something else. No, I can run to you and ask my questions whenever it is. And you're ready to go through my success story with me. I mean, as of today, I can go back and say, oh, these are some of the learnings I had from his own end. I had mentors that I didn't reach out to them as, oh, please, I'd like you to be my mentor. What I did was I just kept following their page. May her soul rest in peace. She's late now. Her name is Kisti Bona. She was an awesome person on LinkedIn. I literally go to her page even till date, and I just keep reading all the articles that she keeps flooding, or she kept flooding on her page, and it helped me. So she was mentoring me in soft skills. She gets communication, how to deal with tough managers, how to deal with people, pretty much. So it's always, you don't know everything, regardless of how many years of experiences you have. You still need somebody who has one step or the other gone past where you are today, so that you take their lessons learned. There's no point wanting to learn your own by yourself when you can take off what another person has learned and leverage on those lessons. So mentorship is really, really important. And then lastly, I would say dedicated hours of continuous improvements. Continuous professional improvement, dedicated hours of continuous professional improvement. So you have to keep researching. I've been saying research. I cannot exaggerate. I cannot overemphasize how important it is to continually improve, upskill yourself. There is no finishing line. You can't say I have gotten to that end point. It's difficult, especially when you're working, but you have to make a deliberate attempt to stay relevant. You want to speak, and then when you speak, someone will validate what you have said. You want to speak, and then when you speak, someone is not answering what you're saying. They can relate to it, right? Because as a business analyst, you will talk to plenty people.
Yeah.
And you don't want to talk rubbish, because the moment you start saying BS, next time nobody will give you a listening ear. So you have to upskill yourself. So for me, those are some of the focuses for you to be able to fast track your growth in that space.
Okay, I think we have a few questions on the comment section. I think someone asked, we'll be taking questions now. Is it okay to reach out to people when your skill level is rudimentary and you really want to go in business analytics field or analysis field?
I didn't hear you. Is it okay to reach out to people when what?
When your skill level is rudimentary and you really want to grow in the business analysis or analytics field.
Okay, yes. There's never a time that it's never okay to reach out to mentors. You should reach out to mentors at any given time. You should make it strategic in your reaching out. Don't just go and boss somebody and say, please, I want you to be my mentor. No, they won't respond to your emails or messages on LinkedIn. So you have to make it strategic. You have to come up to the person, listen out what you have, what you know, steps you have made in getting this, the reason why you think you would succeed, or the reason why you think you would want to transition into business analysis. You have to be able to convince the person. It's like marketing, right? You want the person to give you a listening ear. How do you market yourself such that the person will buy you? Because acquiring a mentor is selling yourself to be bought by someone. So you have to find a way that you will be strategic in reaching out to mentors. And if you reach out to 5 people and they do not give you a positive feedback, please do not stop. It took me more than 2 years to get a mentor. And I got different mentors at each point. Different people. I got different people at each point. But did they stay up to this extent? No. But did I stop there? No. People wouldn't even respond to your messages. They wouldn't. But please do not stop. If they don't respond, go back. Ask yourself, what did I do wrong in my reaching out? How do I strategically ask this next person? What do I even know about this next person? Why do I even want this particular person? So when you're reaching out to the person, like, I like XYZ about you. I feel that because of my journey to this point, XYZ, which is the special characteristics the person possesses that you've been able to identify, you capitalize on that and say, okay, I think I can learn this from you. Hence, I would like you to mentor me. By so doing, and you have to show commitment. Sometimes people will keep you to a test. They wouldn't respond to you. Do you keep coming back to them at intervals, not as a disturbance? Do you find a way to reach back to them? How consistent are you with it? How deliberate are your actions? People would want to see that, and that's why they would want to respond to you. So please, find an approach as to how you should reach out, and always reach out.
Thank you on that. Any other questions? Let's see if we'll have any other questions for you. I think someone's asking if it's okay to be a project manager on a part-time basis.
And what?
On a part-time base.
Okay, on a part-time, I don't know what that means.
Me neither. Okay.
Can
Is
you
any
repeat your question? Ask it in some other way.
or if any other person has any questions for you? Because we're about to wrap up right now. 1 minute. Going. Okay. What would I say? It's been a wonderful experience with Miss Jennifer Rex-Erameh. I hope I'm right with the name. Okay.
Yes, you.
Someone eventually asked a question. Can you recommend an online school to get a professional course on project management?
So I would say, when you say a professional course on project management, my first question, before I start recommending online schools, because there are a whole lot, my first
Yeah.
question would be, are you looking at writing the professional exams? Do you have any level of experience, or are you looking to just acquire the skill sets to be able to gain some level of experiences, right? Because that will determine the kind of recommendations I would give. However, I would just give you high level schools online that you can check out. You have the PMI, right? If you follow them, that's Project Management Institution. If you follow them, you'll see their conferences, schools, and everything that they try to post online. So you can reach out to them. They are the ones that really certify project managers. So if you want an unpaid learning, you have Udemy, you have Coursera, you have YouTube. YouTube makes it really easy and straightforward. It just drives the point. It hits the nail on its head, straight up. So yeah, you have the schools. You have Simply Learn. You have Simply Learn. It's a school. It's an online school. It allows you to learn courses around project management, business analysis, different courses pretty much. So you could check them out. You could also reach out to me on LinkedIn to explain what you mean so that I can provide more insights for you, because your question is quite high level. Yeah.
Thank you. You just let us know your LinkedIn name, and so that people can reach out to you. But they can also reach out to BACN Connect. Send us a DM on Instagram, and we will connect you to Miss Jennifer and to other people that are knowledgeable around these areas. So Jennifer, last words, not last, but last words on, what would you like to advise you would like to give people that would like to upskill and new people that are just wanting to enter into the space?
So my last word would be stay motivated, right? Do not lose focus. Do not be discouraged because you are scared. It's okay to be scared. Nobody has it all figured out, really. No, not even the best of them all. They don't have it all figured out. It's okay to be afraid. But then let your fear drive you. Let your fear drive you to relevance. Let your fear drive you to remain focused. Let your fear drive you to want to aspire knowledge, right? Let your fear drive you to want to upskill and network. So you see, in life generally, you have to use what you have to get what you want, right? So how you go about it is what matters. Always look out for what you have. within you and use that to your advantage in the right manner to get what you want. If you want to be a business analyst, what do you have? You can't say you have nothing.
Hmm.
As much as I'm not wanting to be all religious, but God dropped something in everybody. Specific, yes, specific to you. So search what you have, search within you to identify what you have as a person, and then leverage on that to get what you want. Yeah.
Wow. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience today. I learned today was, the key to
Thank
relevance is
you.
upskilling, and it's really been an amazing journey. Chatting with you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's been
everyone
good
for
chatting with you
joining
too.
in.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. For more information about business analysis and other career options, please send us a message, send us a DM across all social media platforms and even on LinkedIn at BACN Connect. It's been a nice time with you. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
And it's a
You
bye from here.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you.